It had been a rainy day. Katie discovered that it takes a whole lot of work to make chocolate chip cookies. Orbie learned that cleaning up the kitchen wasn't as much fun as messing it up. And they both found out that setting the table took a lot of counting. Mom had been busy all day with her work and didn't really have time to play games with Katie and Orbie. That sometimes happens with parents. So Mom promised that after dinner, they would do something together. As Katie and Orbie cleared the table and Dad washed the dishes, Mom was busy in the living room. When they were finished, they couldn't find Mom anywhere in the living room. All that was there was a big sheet stretched from the chair to the couch. It looked like a cloud in the room. Katie called Mom, and she said, "Here I am." She was underneath the sheet. Katie and Orbie crawled in. Mom asked Dad to turn out the lights, and then Dad followed inside. Dad's head made a bump in the sheet cloud, but Mom told him it doesn't matter. It was dark, but Mom giggled and turned on a flashlight. Katie didn't know what the game was, but she did think it was an excellent idea. Mom told them that when she was a little girl, her brother and sister used to tell spooky stories under the sheet clouds, and whoever told the story held the flashlight. Katie and Orbie loved spooky stories, so this game sounded like fun. Mom went first to show how it was done. She held the flashlight. She said Katie and Orbie were at home on a dark night. There was a storm. The wind howled and the trees blew. And then, without so much as a blip, the lights went out. Mom turned off the flashlight. Orbie held out to Katie's hand, but everybody felt safe because Mom and Dad were right there. She told them that all of a sudden there was a strange noise. In the story, Orbie felt scared, which he really sort of did, and Katie did too. The noise in the story got louder and louder. Mom leaned in and whispered that in the story, in the deep darkness, there was suddenly a light, and it was Mom with a candle. When she said this, Mom turned the flashlight back on. The light surprised everybody, and they all laughed. Katie was next. She told a story about a wild horse that lived in the deep, dark forest. She made the flashlight go up and down like riding a horse. Orbie liked it a lot. He pointed out that her story wasn't very spooky. Katie smiled and pointed the flashlight at her face. "That's because I haven't got to the spooky part yet." Katie told them that the horse ran right into the middle of the deep, dark forest and was out of breath. It was looking for a place to sleep when out from behind a tree jumped a ghost. Katie put the flashlight on the carpet so that almost no light came out. Orbie clapped. It was scary, too. Next was Orbie's turn. His story was about outer space because he loved it so much. He said, a little person in space fell off his star and went spinning through the atmosphere. When Orbie told the part about the person spinning in space, he spun the flashlight around on the floor. Katie loved it. So did Dad. He told Orbie he was very good at special effects. In the story, the person fell kerplunk on the ground. Orbie put the flashlight out. He had a little trouble doing it, and Dad had to help. He told them that a family came and saved the little person and helped him back up to his star. Orbie switched the light back on. Katie thought Orbie's story was wonderful. She loved happy endings. Next was Dad's story, and he took the flashlight in his hand. He asked if everybody was ready for a really spooky tale, and everybody agreed that they were. Dad held the flashlight under his chin and made a very spooky face and used a funny voice and told the story of a man who had 4 faces. All of them were spooky, and every time the man went out of the house, he had a different one on. Each time the man left the house in his story, Dad put the flashlight under someone's chin, and they had to make the spookiest face they could. Mom's face was totally silly and made everyone laugh. Every time the man went out of his house, his spooky face scared everybody on the street, and they ran away. Dad made the sound of someone screaming and running away, and Katie and Orbie both jumped, and then Dad laughed. At the end of the story, Dad said that the man decided that all his spooky faces weren't getting him any friends, and so from now on, he would only wear one nice one. Dad made a silly face and smiled. They laughed. Mom said she couldn't see the clock, but she was sure it was time for bed. Katie and Orbie decided that spooky was fun. As they were all turning to get out of the sheet cloud, something pounced on Dad's head. He was surprised and made a kind of a funny noise. Katie gasped and held her breath. Orbie turtled and whimpered a bit. Maybe something really spooky was happening. I have to tell you that both friends were afraid. Just then the thing pounced on Mom's head. She gave a shriek. It slid partway down her back. Katie and Orbie were both frightened. But then Dad and Mom started to laugh out loud. Katie told them to be quiet or the thing would know where they were. Dad told Katie that the thing already knew, and it wasn't much of a thing either. He pulled back the sheets, and there, chasing the corner of the sheet around the room, was Chance. Katie felt so much better knowing it was Chance. She slapped her hands on her chest. Orbie felt so much better knowing it wasn't a ghost or an alien or a man with spooky faces. Dad put the sheet right over Chance and sat her down on Katie's lap. Katie wondered how something so sweet could have given them such a scare. Mom thought maybe Chance didn't like being left out. Dad wasn't so sure that Chance had been left out. He told them that Chance definitely had the spookiest story of all. It scared everybody. They looked at Chance and agreed. And do you know that from that day on, whenever they were telling spooky stories or playing spooky games, they always looked for Chance first. Nobody wanted her to surprise them again because Chance was good at that. And do you know what? I think she really was. Don't you?
Did you know? No. Did you know? Did you know?
A telescope helps you see things that are far away. The bigger the telescope, the farther away you can see. When they're really, really big, they need their own house, called an observatory.